So Elon Musk and his Doge hacker team are now infiltrating the IRS. That's the subject of today's video, and this is the headlines coming out right now. IRS memo sets stage for Musk advisor to access taxpayer data. And this is how it reads. The IRS is poised to hand over unlimited access to taxpayer data to an advisor from Elon Musk's government efficiency group, according to a draft agreement seen by Bloomberg Tax. Basically, what's going on is this guy, as you can see right here, his name is Gavin Kliger. There's a memo draft going around this weekend. A couple people have seen it, and they're negotiating, like, what are you doing over there? How long are you going to be there? That kind of stuff. What kind of data do you need? And as you're seeing, they're trying to go for unlimited access, I guess. It says Kliger's responsibilities would include debugging, software testing, programming, and implementing safeguards to prevent fraud. That's what they say. Also says here, the temporary detail doesn't give Kliger, who visited the IRS last week, limitations on what taxpayer data he can access. That's kind of a key line. The temporary detail doesn't give Kliger, who visited the IRS last week, limitations. So it doesn't give him limitations like unlimited access on what taxpayer data he can access. These types of memos usually outline a specific purpose or need to access the data, which the draft doesn't include. Okay, so usually there's some sort of purpose on this thing, like why you need this data, what are you trying to do? And it says that's not in the draft. And it says they're a coin person familiar with the memo, drawing concern over the purpose and how broad Kliger's access could be. They're negotiating it right now, and I think the White House is pressuring to try to probably get unlimited access, that kind of stuff. Right now, at the moment, they're looking to fire a whole bunch of people over at the IRS. This would be all of your probationary workers. This is actually a problem because I think we need more people at the IRS, not like fire all these people, but that's essentially the Musk, people, their goal is to shrink the government as much as possible, to remove any protections, and they also want to remove any cops because they're all criminals. That's how this game is played. And the problem with Musk is he tells himself all the time. Now, what I mean by that is like every statement he makes, it feels like a confession. This is what he says. Elon Musk, he's blaming 60 Minutes now, right? The TV show. 60 Minutes are the biggest liars in the world. They engage in deliberate deception to interfere with the last election. They deserve a long prison sentence. And just think about that. Just imagine if you replace the word 60 Minutes with Elon Musk as he's talking about himself. Just think about that. I just always feel like the stuff they say, it just feels like a confession in a way, right? On top of that, Elon Musk, he can't seem to keep secrets or keep quiet about stuff. This is why him and his, young team of hacker people are untrustworthy, right? And we know that Musk has lied and boasted and puffed up his company for years. And this is kind of stuff that he tweets out. This is just a few hours ago. Elon Musk says, according to Social Security database, these are the numbers people in each age bucket with the death field set to, quote, false. Maybe Twilight is real and there are a lot of vampires collecting Social Security. Okay, great. And I was looking at this a little bit further, and if you actually read more of what he has to say, if someone says like, Elon, aren't you supposed to be working on your AI Grok thing? And Elon says here, oops, back to work I go. This was just too spicy not to post, right? And just understand that. This guy, like, let's say he comes across or whatever data of someone's or he sees some sort of information. He's like, oh my God, this is pretty incredible. I got to share this with the world. Some things maybe you shouldn't share with the world, right? Some things maybe are classified. Some things are maybe illegal to share, any number of things. But I'm just saying Musk is kind of whacked out of his mind and they're just untrustworthy. I don't know what else to say. And it's concerning that, he's and his team are trying to get their hands on the IRS data. I think that, and then they're going to go after the Department of Defense, and they're just firing people willy-nilly. This is the issue that Musk had with the 60 Minutes. They did a thing on USAID. Basically, someone over there is saying Musk is a liar, and Musk is like, no, you're the liar. So, we'll see. One thing I thought was interesting about this kind of exchange is at one point Musk was saying here, I'll show you this 2 hours ago, it says 60 Minutes are such liars. As the committee notes, all states all employees were offered 8 months of pay and benefits. Now, he's referring to this video here, which I just looked at, and basically it's saying, that the people were concerned about what's going to happen to them when they lose their jobs, basically. Like, here's the quote. It says, 12 days ago, people knew where their next paycheck was coming from. They knew how they were going to pay for their kids' daycare, their medical bills, and then all gone overnight, right? So that's what someone is saying. And they go on to say how like people were escorted out the building if they wouldn't leave. And then Musk is trying to make the case, but no, you were offered 8 months pay and benefits. But it could be true. Yeah, I mean, so there's a situation. I want to understand like how this stuff works. There's a situation where both can be true, right? But one is kind of like misleading and not. So, for example, it would be true. Yes, Musk did offer people 8 months buyout, but it's also true where people are like, well, I'm not really sure, where my next, money's going to come from, et cetera. Meaning that, can I trust Musk? Are they even authorized to offer the bailout, that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, it's true that Musk offered the buyout. I guess the better way to say it, the 8 months thing. That's true. He did offer it, but it's also true. If I'm the employee, I'm not really sure if that's a legitimate offer, right? I think both people can be true here, and that's sort of why I thought it was very interesting that the community note that Musk stated there, that it's frankly gone in the post right now, and I just want to say Musk has a long history of saying a lot of misleading things. On top of that, and this is sort of why it's really sensitive data when you're at the IRS, and I guess they have access to bank account numbers and all sorts of tax data, and they can send out whatever notices and stuff like that regarding your taxes, that stuff, is that now they're asking the public for help on their Doge thing. It says here, Doge is looking for help from the general public. Please DM Insight for reducing waste, fraud, and abuse. And I laugh. This is like, they're going to get so much like just basically spam and nonsense, contacting them. Already one of the Tesla stock promoters, this is Whole Mars Kellogg. He's one of the guys who just, loves Tesla all day, every day. And he's already tweeting to them, I guess. Has Doge put any thought into how to reduce duplicative spending on D's across federal agencies? I think it's a joke. It's probably some sort of stupid D's nuts joke. But that's sort of the mentality and sort of spam that they're going to get, right? On top of that, Musk has been talking about, should we audit the IRS? He's been talking about this for the last couple of days. People are like, yes, and people are like, F yes, which is, what 90%, but this is his platform now and his followers, and could be bot votes for all we know. And then he has this as well. The IRS said it wants 20 billion more money. Do you think its budget should be increased, same, decreased, or deleted? And, obviously people are going to vote for him to delete it. These kind of things are actually really unsettling. And the thing with like people like Musk, they have the most to gain if you weaken the IRS, if you weaken the SEC, if you weaken the FDA, if you weaken, any number of agencies. We can talk about the Environmental Protection Agency. I think the Trump people fired people there today. Basically, Musk wants a world where there are no regulations, so he can just do whatever he wants, no oversight, get all that government contracts, right? Not worry about paying taxes on anything. This is sort of why you go after these kind of agencies, right? He has quite a lot to gain from this, and I feel like as Tesla, sales basically crash, and people really, really dislike the guy, he's just rotating other things to do, and at this stage it's going after the IRS. I'll say this also too is I think the really concerning stuff is just the lack of transparency and the major speed at which they're trying to do things. If they were trying to do things the right way, right, that they would just do it during regular business hours. I said this the first time when they wasn't it the Treasury they went to first? I can't keep track of it, but I remember I read the reports because I told you guys, I'm like, what is going on, guys? And I started making multiple videos about this because it was just really unsettling that they do this stuff on a weekend. They showed up in these black cars with the people, and you remember like the guards at I think it was the Treasury. It was one of the first buildings, and I think it was was that 12 days ago or something like that. But it was one of the first. It could be the USAID. I don't remember which one exactly, but it was one of the first buildings where they showed up, and like the guards were like, "You can't come in because not all of you have clearance." And then basically the people with clearance tried to vouch for the other people, right? Oh, I got clearance, so I'm vouching for my buddies here. And then they're threatened to call the marshals on the security. And then ultimately, Musk had the security people basically put on leave, which is pretty nuts. And then they just started going through people's desks, tearing stuff off walls, gaining access to all kinds of things. Or, for example, I read a report when they were in the Department of Education. I guess they took over the top floors of that building and then moved the furniture around, is what the report said, and then played white noise so that no one could hear what they were saying. Like they do all this shady stuff, right? And the big thing that people keep mentioning, and I 100% agree, is if they were serious about, looking for fraud, looking for, any kind of waste, you'd bring a team of forensic accountants, not a team of hackers. And I think that is probably the most obvious, thing that you would do. On top of that, again, they're attacking these important agencies on weekends, which is disturbing. And there's a few more details in this stuff which I want to go over, you guys. It says here, this is a review from the Washington Post. First one's from Bloomberg. It says U.S. DOGE is seeking access to the heavily guarded Internal Revenue Service system that includes detailed financial information about every taxpayer, business, and nonprofit in the country, right? So they're getting all kinds of data there. And this is what I mentioned to you guys before. It says the White House, under pressure from the White House, the IRS is considering a memorandum of understanding that would give DOGE officials from DOGE, which stands for the Department of Government Efficiency, broad access to tax agency systems, property, and data sets. So that's what we're talking about. I think this is a major concern because, again, Musk is untrustworthy and they're doing things in a really unorthodox manner, and they're trying to do it as fast as possible is what it looks like to me. So I wanted to share your thoughts on this, and I want to hear yours, and I'll catch you on the next video.